This is Unit 3 Triangles, preview video 3.6. Side, 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 angle, side, angle, side, angle, 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 side. Shortcuts and informal proofs. Sit tall. Ready? Inhale. Deep breath, hold. Exhale. Alrighty, friends. Don't forget date, time, and location here, friends. What we are doing today is we're going to continue talking about congruent triangles. Start with this. Go like this with your hands. Put your fingers together. Repeat after me. Say whole equal, parts equal. Whole equal, parts equal. So what that's saying is, if I tell you that the whole triangles here are equal, there are a total of 6 items equal. You have 3 pairs of angles, and you have 3 pairs of sides matching. Just kind of trace along with me, kind of see what we're doing. So if I tell you the whole triangles are equal, there's a total of 6 pairs of items which are congruent. 3 sets of congruent sides, 3 sets of congruent angles. 3 sets of congruent sides, 3 sets of congruent angles. Keep in mind, total of 6. Total of 6 pairs of things equal if triangles are congruent. Also, recapping from the previous lesson, watch out for things that are congruent but not marked. And those are what we call freebies. Trace the straight lines. Sweep the vertical angles and put an A for angles. 1 pair of A for each angles. Straight down. That red side is shared by 2 triangles, exactly shared like an apartment wall. And you would actually put a hatch mark on this, and that is a pair of sides, S, circle. 1 S for each pair. Here, I'd like you to trace the smaller triangle. Just trace it. Trace the larger triangle. They exactly share this angle right there. Share it. That's called a reflexive angle, A for angle. So freebies, as I call them, is things that are congruent but not marked. They're hidden, so you have to watch out for them. Again, to recap, that would be vertical angles, reflexive sides, and a reflexive angle. So, when things are congruent, there's 6 pairs of things equal. What I'm going to show you now is shortcuts. The shortcuts say, instead of having to have 3 pairs of sides, go like this with your fingers, say 3 sides, 3 angles, total of 6, 3 sides, 3 angles. Instead of having to have a total of 6 items equal for triangles to be congruent, we're only going to go down to 3. So it's a specific combination of sides and or angles that says if only these 3 things are congruent, then everything else has to be congruent. It's a shortcut. It's a minimal shortcut. So there's 4 of them, 4 shortcuts. They are just kind of side, 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 angle, side, angle, side, angle, 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 side. Shortcuts. So side, side, side says this. If you have 3 corresponding sides congruent, then the triangles have to be congruent, side, side, side. So what that means is if you have 3 corresponding sides congruent, 1 set, 2 set, 3 set, it forces all the angles to be congruent automatically. So if I can show these triangles are congruent by the shortcut of 3 congruent sides, the other 3 angles also have to automatically be congruent. It's a shortcut. So that is the basic version of side, side, side. Here is what I call the undercover version, meaning the hidden. Ready? Watch. We have a pair of sides. You have another pair of sides, and then here you have your undercover reflexive side. These triangles, this one on the left and this one on the right, they are congruent by the shortcut side, side, side. That's 1 of 4. This is called side angle side. It says this: if I have a pair of sides congruent and I have another pair of sides congruent and I have an angle squeezed between the sides, go like this, side congruent, another side congruent, and an angle, go like this with your hands, squeezed. Squeeze. The angle has to be squeezed between the 2 sides. This spells side, angle, side. Warning, if the angle's like this at the tail, 2 sides, then an angle, side, side, angle is not a shortcut. Okay, it's called the ambiguous case. I'll send you a quick little video explaining why it doesn't work. Side, side. So 2 sides, then an angle. In other words, the angle's not squeezed between. That doesn't work. And the way I remember it is no bad words, spelled either way. That'll take you about 10 seconds. Let me show you an undercover version. So right here, sweep, sweep, I have a pair of sides, that's an S. Sweep, sweep, I have another pair of sides, 1 S for each pair. And then we have a pair of vertical angles, A, and that angle is squeezed between the 2 distinct sides. So this shortcut spells side, angle, side. This one's angle, side, angle. So this one says, if I have a pair of congruent angles and a side squeezed between 2 angles and then another pair of angles, congruent, of course, This is called angle, side, angle, angle, side, angle. There's another way I visualize it. Go like this with your hands. Angle, 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 angle. Put this near your mouth. Think of the side as a big, fat, juicy hamburger patty. And your hands are squeezing the bun. Your hands are two angles. Looks like this. Angle, angle, and then a side in between the two distinct angles. So I call this the hamburger. Angle, side, angle. You're biting the hamburger patty, which is the side. Angle, side, angle. Angle, side, angle. The side is squeezed between two distinct angles. Let me give you an example. These are the undercover. So here I have a pair of angles. Here I have a pair of sides. Then undercover, freebie angles. So notice very carefully that this side, if you will, this side is being sandwiched between two distinct angles. Two distinct angles, a single hatch and a double hatch. That's what I call a hamburger, angle, side, angle. Here would be an example here. I have a pair of angles, another pair of angles, and then we would have a reflexive side. So this would read an angle, a side, and another distinct angle. That's a hamburger. Angle, side, angle. Angle, side, angle. These are shortcuts. So if this minimal of three things are congruent, then everything else has to be congruent. This one says, if I have a pair of angles, and then another pair of angles, and then a side which is attached to only one of the angles, this is called angle, angle, side. Side, angle, angle is perfectly fine as well. That's good. Remember, it's side, side, angle is not good. So the other one was hamburger. I call this the tail, and the reason why is tail, angle, snout, angle, rear, side, tail. That's what I'm visualizing. Angle, angle, side as the tail. Ready? Mark. We have a pair of angles. Another pair of angles. And then do you see this side? It is physically touching only one of the angles. Only one, not both, one. That's why this is called angle, angle, side. Or let me visualize it, angle, angle, side. Angle, angle, then a side. This side is a tail to only one pair of angles. That's angle, angle, side. Down here. Pair of angles, another pair of angles, side. Once again, this side is only touching one pair of angles. It's not physically touching the other. So that is why this is called angle, angle, side. So there's 4 shortcuts to congruency. This is how you spot the shortcuts. I'm going to do this page with you. First, you look for freebies. And remember, our freebies are going to be vertical angles, a reflexive side, and a reflexive angle. You mark them. Then you determine with the preview marks if one of these shortcuts works or if it's not possible. I'm going to do all 4 of these. Ready? Okay, step 1, look for a freebie. In this, our freebie is the reflexive side. So you're going to hatch mark it. I'm going to do freebies in black so they're easy to spot. Hatch, I got a pair of sides. Trace this. Those are already hatch marked for you. I have a pair of sides given. And then sweep, sweep. That's a pair of congruent angles. So this here, that angle is sandwiched between the sides, so it reads side, angle, side. That's side, angle, side. That's the shortcut that's going on there. I'm going to do the freebie in black. So our freebie here is vertical angles. Remember, freebies are things that are always congruent but not marked. So you have to find them, you have to mark them. So we got a pair of angles. Now, watch. We have a pair of hatch mark sides. We already have those freebie angles, and then another pair of, wait a minute, look there on the left. Look, 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 watch, careful, careful, careful. Okay, so on the left, do you see how that angle is sandwiched between both sides? But on the right, do you see how it's not sandwiched? We're actually marking the incorrect one. It doesn't match. On the left, that reads side, angle, side. On the right, it reads side, side, angle. So on the left, it's reading side, angle, side. On the right, it's reading angle, side, side, or side, side, angle. The triangles are not matching. Therefore, it is not possible. The hatch marks do not align. Come down here. We're going to start getting a little bit trickier on you. We're going to start by marking the freebie. Our freebie here is the reflexive side. So trace that, S. Look what we got here. I have a pair of angles. I have another pair of angles. And then I have a side. That side is physically touching only one of the pair of the angles, the double sweep. It's not physically touching the other one. So this one reads angle, angle, side. It's a tail. Or you could read it like this if you wanted to. Side, angle, angle. Both of those would be correct. On the right, let's mark our freebie. Hatch mark. S. Let's see what else we have. Another pair of sides. Another pair of sides. So this one would be side, side, side. That's how you do your shortcuts. This page, follow the same process. Find the freebies, mark them, and then determine which shortcut is. Don't cheat. Pause the video and then restart. Pause. Welcome back. Switch to a red pen, friends. Switch to a red pen. I'm not going to color code this one for speed's sake. I'm just going to give you the answers. This one, your freebie was here. It's a side. This is an angle, angle. This should read angle, side, angle. Right-hand side, you had a reflexive side. You had 2 other sets of sides. This one reads side, side, side. Down here, this one, I had a pair of angles, another pair of angles, and then a side. This one reads angle, angle, side, or side, angle, angle. That's perfectly fine. On the right-hand side, I have a pair of angles, another pair of angles. I have a side that's sandwiched between both angles. So this reads angle, side, angle. Hopefully you got those last two correct. That's left is tail, right is hamburger. Now we're going to take this one step further. Your 4 shortcuts, keep in mind, are this. Your shortcuts. Remember, they're shortcuts. Side, side, side. Side, angle, side. Angle, side, angle. Now, so far, what you have congruent is things that are marked congruent, and then also the freebies. I'm adding 2 more things. The 2 more things are things that are given and things that are implied. For example, given AC bisects BCD. So trace AC, trace BCD, and write the phrase bisect. And it also bisects, let's go this way, I'm going to switch the colors, bisect BAD, which is here, or sweep. This is also being bisected. This one's being bisected. Okay, that is our given. Ta-da, it's given. Implied by the given. So this is given, what's true because of the given, and this is what's true. This is being bisected. I have a pair of angles. Right here, I have another pair of angles. That's implied. Freebie. AC is equal to AC. That's a reflexive side. Why is this triangle congruent to this triangle? And the shortcut here is angle, side, angle. We kind of talked it through at the same time. Give it implied, freebies, talk through. This should start ringing a bell, friends. Okay, ready? Given. We are given that C is the midpoint of BE, so we trace BE. I'm going to color code this. And C is the midpoint going that way, which means implied. And AD, also the midpoint going this way, midpoint going that way as well. Given and implied, we have a pair of sides and another pair of sides. Freebies, the vertical angles are congruent, pair of angles. Talk it through. Why is this triangle congruent to this triangle? The answer would be side, angle, side. Ta-da! Now we're going to do what are called narrative proofs, which we're going to apply this to a proof, which again is just an explanation, folks. Do not be freaked out by the word proof. Proof just means explain. It's really not that complicated. Just explain. So we're going to walk through that gift process, and we'll do this one together. Given, implied, freebies, talk it through. Given. We are given that AB and ED are parallel. So whenever we have parallel, Always stretch it out. So we're doing this. Parallel, not congruent. That's parallel. We're also given that angles C and F are congruent. So C and F, congruent. Aha, we officially have a pair of congruent something. So you write it down, we have a pair of angles. Okay, so I've done this one, I've done this one. And also AB and ED is congruent. AB, the segment, and ED, the segment. Not only are they parallel, they're also congruent. That's an S. Good. I've got that, got that, got that. Now, implied. What is implied here? We're trying to prove that this triangle, ABF, and this triangle, CED, are congruent. Implied or freebies. There's not really vertical angles here, folks. But because of the parallel lines, because of those green parallel lines, we do get angles 1 and 2 congruent. So that gets us a pair of angles. Now look very carefully. There's no freebies. We're going to talk it through. Remember, we're looking for our shortcuts. Our shortcuts are this. Let's eliminate. In this, we don't even have reflexive sides. In this right now, we only have one pair of sides. Right there, one pair of sides. So that eliminates both this and this. So we're trying to figure out whether it is a hamburger, angle, side, angle, or a tail, angle, angle, side, like a dog tail. This side is only touching one pair of angles, which are the red angles. It is not physically touching these blue angles way out here. So because it's not physically touching both, we know these triangles are congruent by, let me highlight it, angle, angle, side. Angle, angle, side. Ta-da! Or you could say side, side, angle. Same thing. Excuse me. Side, angle, angle. So you could call this angle, angle, side, or side, angle, angle. That's the same thing. All your work is done on the diagram. Your write-up is kind of an afterthought. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to follow this order, angle, angle, side. I'm going to roughly follow that order. You guys ready? I'm going to give you an example here. Step number 1, I'm going to go for my easy angles. Okay? Angle C Angle C is congruent to angle F because it is given. That's our first pair of angles. Then we were told that AB is parallel to ED because it is given. So angle 1 is congruent to angle 2 because alternate interior angles are congruent. Alternate interior angles, that'd be these guys, armpits of the Z. That's where we got those. Alternate interior angles are congruent. There is our other pair of angles. Our side We were given the fact that AB is congruent to ED. How do we know that's true? Because it is given. Remember, hit your target. Your target is those triangles are congruent. Therefore, right here, triangle ABF is congruent to triangle CED. Why is that true? Because of angle, side, shortcut. That, my friends, is a narrative proof. This one, truly, you're going to do it completely on your own, totally on your own. You're going to write your own. This should take you about 5 minutes, only 5 minutes. Then get a red pen and then turn the video back on, check your work. Pause the video. Welcome back. Let's see how you did. First off, you should have a red pen. You are correcting your work, not copying. Students, if all you're doing is copying right now, I'm going to mark you down on your preview notes. This is a learning process. Copying is not learning. Ready? All right. We know AB and AD are congruent because it's given right there. Check. It's given. We're also told that BC and CD are congruent. Why? Okay, I have a pair of sides and another pair of sides. It's also given. Implied in freebies would be the fact that AC is equal to AC, another pair of sides. Why are the triangles congruent? These triangles right here, this one, congruent to this one. Why are those congruent? And the shortcut here would be side, side, side. So your sentences should look something like this. Does not mean that you have to mark them wrong, just as long as you have the same components as I. So you should have something like this. I'm going to type it out. No, I'll write it. I think I could do that a little faster. It is given that AB is congruent to AD. That was the first pair of sides. Second pair of sides, also given. BC is congruent to DC. There's your next pair of sides. Then we can say this, AC or CA, doesn't matter. CA, the side, is congruent to CA, the side, because of, that's called the reflexive property. Something like this. Therefore, or finally, therefore, triangle ABC is congruent to triangle ADC because of the side, side, side triangle shortcut. Check your work. If you got it correct or something similar, check, check, check. If you missed a step, write it in red pen so I can see those corrections. Summarize the main content for this lesson.